Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Bhavatu Sakana Upanattu Sakaviryan Karavavakai Tejasvinavdidamastuma Vitvishavai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Dasyate Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Om. Good morning. So we have started in the last class the introduction to the Prakarana Grantha by Bhashyakara Bhagavan Shankara called Vaakya-Vritti. We, as an avatarika, as an intro, we touched upon that and saw the very purpose of that text is to focus our mind to a sentence or a set of sentences called Mahavakyas that are the essence of Vedas because they resolve all that need to be resolved. This motherly statement is not a flattery because the Mahavakyas, the Vaakya-Vritti, the first phrase Vakya means sentence, as you know, refers to what we glorify as Mahavakya. Mahavakyam means, like just now we heard Mahamaya. Maha means the supremely glorious Vakya in the Vedas. Vedas got lots of Vakyas. Why it is special? Because these Vakyas are the seed form of revealing the truth that Jiva Ishvara Aikyam Satyam, Advaitam Satyam, Ekam Satyam. That means the very pursuit that we have in life to somehow attain perfection in everything we do comes to a paripurnatvam when you realize that very thing that you beseech, the perfection, is you. Tadu tvam asi. Asi means are. Tvam you. Tat. That you are. What is that? This has no meaning to some stranger to come to the conversation because it does not give you a subjective indication of anything. That is you. And what is that? That you know if you were in pursuit of that. Well, I'm in a pursuit of happiness, then that is that. I'm in a pursuit of Purnayush, that is that. Sukham, that is that. In other words, it is making a statement that the very Parabrahman that you are worshipping, you are that. Now, even when I say that, I tremble because how could that be true? How could that be true? That is why, out of this vinayam of not accepting it, as well as of ignorance of not realizing it, and out of arrogance of not willing to accept it, even the many scholars don't give the status of Mahavakyam to this Jiva Aishwarya Vakyams, Jivesha Vakyam. They call it Artha Vakyas, Upachara Vakyas. Even those who follows Vedas, we call them the Purva Mimamsikas, that do in the Karma Upasana for this Vyabhara of life. They are also Veda Vakyas. They say that is the primary focus of Vedas. Vedas are there to give you instructions to lead a happy life here and hereafter. No, we don't disagree with that. But the happiness is underlined. What is the happiness when you question that these Vakyas are only Avantra Vakyas or subsidiary Vakyas, helping Vakyas, not the ultimate. So that is a difference between the Vedantis, especially Advaita Vedantis, to the other Astikas who believe that it starts and ends with karma upasana, like Nachiketas is trying to find out what his father's pursuit was. We saw it in the Kathopanishad. We cannot negate that. We need to have that, but you have to transcend that. When you transcend that, the Mahavakyas become Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. Aikyam is the unification. It's a wrong understanding. Unification means there are two things uniting. It's not a unification that way. It is realizing the oneness, Aikyam, between Jiva, that means you and I, with the Ishvara, that. You and I means it is me, or you, Balaji, or you, Prakash, you, Ramesh. Who? There are many Jivas. Well, that is another complication we have, because we have taken everything literally, that every individual thing is indivisible, unique by itself. They exist or they don't exist. This is the kind of schools of thought. So this multiplicity, we say, is a projection. They exist by itself. Like I gave an example. If you take a fine turkey towel, you spread on the table, and you see the threads of those towels are all standing up. Imagine each one is a jiva. There are so many jivas. One is tall, one is short, one is pink, one is red, one is white. But when you pull the towel, stretch the towel to the maximum, all this thread becomes resolved into the plane, right? The same thread that is woven from the left and right, the time and space domain, creates these projections as beings. And because of the luminance of the intelligence that is imparted to them, they behave as if they are independent. That's called a jiva bhavam. Bhavam means a posture that I am this individual. So who created the jiva bhavam? You yourself created that. So when you created the jiva bhavam, then you create the world for yourself. I didn't create the world. I came into this world. Yes, you came into this world, but you don't live in this whole world. You live in your own world. I live in Harrow. My ambience, my friends, my relationship, my sukha-dukkhas are there. So my domain of experience is my world. I create. So if I create, I have to control it. Don't blame God for it. So we all create this little bubble and live within it. And we continue to live like this forever and ever and ever. And within the bubble, we want 5-star luxuries. And that Veda says, do this yajna and do this upasana, probably you may get this of your punyam, better bubble. So this is called a jiva bhava. So when I have the light of sun, the jnana comes to this bubble, the bubble bursts. The light is called a jnana bodham. Bodha means the intimate awareness, the consciousness is filled with jnanam. Jnanam means I am none other than the Parabrahman. The bubble breaks. That means you become one with the space. I have a pot, a big pot and a small pot. Vedanta, you have only few examples. Profound they are. Mud pot. We go back to mud pot. Small pot, big pot, colorful pot, gold-laced pot. We are all different pots. I may be an ugly pot, it may be a beautiful pot. But you just break it open. What happened? So what is inside the pot, the space in me and the space in you, the life in me, the life in you, has no difference. They become one with the Paramatma. Now, this is what the essence of Vedanta. So this we call the Mahavakyas. And why we say Mahavakya? Because if you know it as the resolution for yourself, then all your problems become petty and trivial. Why should I worry about how do I change my face to look beautiful? Where do I get my makeup done? Knowing very well that it's going to be decayed in some day. So if I have this goal that I am Atma, I am the Paramatma, by realizing it, the rest of my life in this world and whatever the life that may come into this body, embodiment, bring it on. Because I'm going to enjoy it. That is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. But this text, Bhagavad Gita, is a text of all inquiries of Vedas into that. But this Vaakya-Vritti just ignores everything, just focuses on one single sentence, Tattvamasi, the very essence that all the Vedas try to teach, and you understand it because you have the intellectual capacity and you have this, I know what is called this itch, Krishnam. I want to know it, I want to know it. I like him. I have faith in this Acharya, the teacher, but I want to know it. So that is important to have that kind of urge. To quell the urge, the thirst, Bhagavan explains this. That's why it's called a Vaakya-Vritti. So the vritti means, generally the word vritti means pravritti, your yearning, your prosperity. So we'll say normally, how is your life? If you want also in Sanskrit, because we have vritti here. How is your vritti? How is your pravritti? There is another word vritti. We use the vritti in yogaha, chitta vritti, nirodhaha. That the vritti means a thought. So vritti means a growth, or vritti means a thought. Sometimes vritti also means padartha samarthya. That means you find out a very special meaning of something. I'd say, so this man, this man's book speaks the truth. So how can a book speak the truth? So here the word has got a meaning that it is revealing important information. So that like that, when you were able to get lakshyartha, tattvarthas, expand the meaning, bring a new dimension to that, that's a padartha vritti. That's also vritti. But here it's very, very simple. Vakya vritti means a brief description of a vakya. What is a vakya? Mahavakya. See, anything you want to get, any knowledge, let's say any right knowledge you want to get, you need a source of that knowledge. What do we call it? You know it. It's called a pramanam. In Sanskrit, prama means right knowledge. Pramanam means the instrument that gives right knowledge. Use P, yeah, Pramanam. Because if you say Brahma means wrong knowledge, misconception, delusion. It's the opposite of it. So we don't want Brahmanam, we need Pramanam. So my eyes is a Pramanam because I see this screen, I see you, I hear the lectures, I speak, I feel the wind caressing my cheek. All these senses, therefore, are instrument of knowledge. And because I feel it directly, this is called pratyaksha pramana. Prati means in front, aksha means I or the senses. Pratyaksha means it is in front of my senses or because of my senses. I feel this jnanam. So pratyaksha pramana is most important one. Whatever you can perceive, that comes out of the pratyaksha pramana. So we need to use it. Yeah? When you walk and you fell down, somebody will say, oh, didn't you see it? Or you're not careful. That means you are not using your pramanam properly. So pramanam, pratyaksha pramanam. Sometimes you use the pratyaksha pramanam and then use your intellectual capacity, your memories, to fill up the gaps in this. I heard a noise going like this, a noise. That noise is a train noise. I think the train is passing by. I have not seen it, but I'm using the hearing which is coming from my ears, pratyaksha pramanam, and then I'm using my memory, my knowledge, and generate from within myself an intuitive knowledge. It's called intuition, anumana. So that's a pramanam. So sometimes I don't need these five senses. I can create intuition, intuitive knowledge, anumana. So we take it as a part of the instrument of it. Of course, there are a lot of subdivision. We don't go there. But sometimes you need to have somebody's words as a pramana. I am new to this place. I need to go. I need to reach Yogesh house. So he's very popular. I go to the street and then I ask somebody, where is Yogesh house? They say, oh, go straight and third house on the left. Now I got a knowledge about Yogesh house, not pratyaksha because I have not seen it, not intuition because I didn't imagine it, but I took it from somebody's mouth. Who did I take it from? I thought that gentleman, he looks like a gentleman. He won't lie. Why should he lie? Probably he's a Yogesh friend, I know. So he is an Apta Purusha, a sincere person. So Apta Vakya Pramanam, I took it. I took the word from a person as knowledge to me. It is necessary. You have to understand this part very well. Because if you don't understand it, everything I had to see it, I have not seen God, therefore God doesn't exist. We fail. So in our day-to-day life itself, we have to take the words of somebody. Of course, we experiment it. If this man actually made a mistake, he made a wrong thing, then I know he was wrong. I will discard him. So I have the right to do it. So none of this knowledge is imposing on you. It is facilitating you, and you have the right to refuse it. This Aptavakya Pramanam is also called Shabda Pramanam because it's a sound. In those days, they use the word sound. Nobody writes everything. They say Shabda Pramanam. Generally, you may have a confusion here, right? Well, when I hear the train sound, that's also Shabdam. When you teach me something, I'm hearing that's a Shabdam. So is it the same as that? Is it not a Pratyaksha Pramanam itself? Because I'm hearing it. See, when you hear something, this is called a dhvani. Dvanatmakam. That means you hear a noise into your ears and then you make something out of it. So I got up from the bed because somebody rang the bell. So the bell sound came to you, pratyaksha pramanam, your ears heard it, there was a noise. You don't call it shabda pramanam, you call it pratyaksha pramanam. Somebody is speaking in Punjabi to me. I don't know Punjabi. It's just a dhvani to me. But when you speak in English, it is not dhvani, it is varnatmakam. It is words, sentences, meanings. So just a sideline so that you don't have any doubts. Just hearing is just a pratyaksha pramanam. But when it is intelligent words and knowledge that is spoken by somebody, that is shabda pramanam. But we don't come to Mahavakyas. It's not like finding the house of a person or a shop, but it's about finding myself as Parabrahman. I need to really go to the sentence or the Vakyas of the supreme nature, no, none other than the Ishvara himself. Ishvara's breathing is Vedas. Therefore, in the Vedas, the Veda Vakyas, the Mahavakyas are the Shabda Pramanam, Aptavakya Pramanam. Therefore, I must listen to it. Understand? So if you have a question, why are we spending a time on interpreting one sentence? This is the reason for it, because that sentence is the Arthavakya that comes out to that. But this kind of inquiry doesn't happen naturally. It doesn't happen by your effort. I can, with all honesty and humility, I would say, if some of us are sitting and listening to it, taking effort to listen to it, either now or later, it's because that is what you are destined to. If I have to glorify it, we are chosen to. Because the Vedanta Vicharam, Vedanta Shravanam, you have to be chosen by the Atma, that is yourself, that it is time in your evolution of life form, Jiva Yatra, you have come to that junction where you started to resolve the major equation of who you really are. I know, I think just out of Ruchi, I'm saying, for example, Shibalaji was trying to reorganize the membership in the sessions, just to tidy it up so that people can really make effective benefit of it. But you will only find a few, because when you have, I'm not saying in any way, any disrespect, but this is how the nature is. This is how I was 10 years back, 20 years back. Because when you have, tomorrow there is a A.R. Rahman concert, 300 pounds ticket, thousands, millions will go. Because it is giving you pleasure, sukham. Or even if you have Radha Kalyanam, Sita Kalyanam, Namasingitana Bhajan, lots of people go. Bhagavad Upanyasam, interesting story, Katha. It pleases your senses, right? All the sensual pleasures are there. The sukham is there. You'll go. The moment you start going deeper into Vedanta Shravanam, this will deteriorate. The numbers will dwindle. It's not I'm saying this. Bhagavan says, Bhashekara says jokingly at one place, look, I'm talking about the Atma Vidya, and you're worried about the Grahacharan and Jupiter going into the ninth place and what parikaram to do. So Does not matter whether two people listen or one person listen. But even if you don't understand, you listen, because this is like a seed. Nobody understands the seed. You talk to a great gardener, he can give you a chapter and verse on how to plant, how to remove the weeds, how to decorate the garden. But asking about what is inside the seed, I don't know. I know if I put it in there, I nourish with water, it's going to grow into a fruit tree that gives you benefit. So ignorance is fine to have. Ignorance is not bad. Ignorance sometimes is very good because it inculcates Shraddha. So sometimes it is like just a Shravanam, just it going through in the back of your mind. As much as possible, when it happens, what happened? It is a seed going into your heart. When it is fertile, when it is right time, it comes out. So the Mahavakya Vicharam, therefore, is an important step. So I think I will not go back to reason out why we study these scriptures. Now, what is Vakyam? Generally, Vakyam means a sentence. I have to say this context because we are going to go a little bit deeper into this, because this is scrutiny. This education, this study is not imposition on you, but it is inviting you to think and analyze it. Generally, a Vakyam, a sentence, is Padanam Samuka Vakyam. Padam means a verse, Samuha means a collection of words. So suppose if I say Sunday, golf, pub, milk, car, home. Now all these are words. If I say Padanam Samuha Vakyam, is it a sentence? Does it make sense? No, right? So it is not enough to have a collection of words. The words have to have some order, some relationship, some expectancy. So why are we doing this? Why do we have to understand all this? Isn't it a given? Yeah, it is given, but you must really appreciate how is it given to us from our ancestors? How does a sentence form? How does a word form? What is a language? Who created the languages? That's why Vedas are called Shabda. We normally say, oh, I'm translating Vedas from Sanskrit to English, we say, right? And we write English translation of Vedas, which is in Sanskrit, we say. No. Sanskrit is in Vedas. Every language is in Vedas. What do you mean by that? What I mean by that is Vedas is Shabda. It is sound. Like a child, when a child is born, it hears noise. And it starts making sense of noise. And the noise is being somehow edited, controlled, directed by the mother, father, and the circumstances. And then it attaches implicit meaning to it. Then the marriage of meaning and the word becomes a natural formation, and they become one, and then you develop into that one, right? I'm not going back to etymology, but this is a huge science and nobody knows it. There are theories which says languages have evolved over many time by the sign language, by the need between mother and a child, unto family, unto society. There's a theory like that. And there's a theory, no, language was there in one go. There is word, like Bible says. It's just there. And we're able to connect it. Okay? So we leave the language evolution one side. So when the rishis see the Shabda comes into the mind, into mantras, That's why they are called rishis, the seers. And when they vocalize it, the mantra pravaham comes out. It's not a you put a room and then you have all kind of indulgence, and then you write a sloga, write a poetry, write a song. No. It's outpouring of the rishis, because they are loaded with these waves of sound into the mind. You and I will say, okay, he is thinking and writing a poetry, and therefore he is an author. The rishis don't see it like this, because it is beyond their limit. It comes out. The Vedas came and they recited, so that it becomes mantras in the mind. It's a shruti. Then they say, how do we understand this? Like any communication engineers would know, when you do the cellular mobile system or any phone system or any communication system. So when I speak, the sound becomes a sound wave. It travel across this sky, and a transceiver receives it, and of course they send in a particular frequency and all that. They receives it, they decode it. Decoding means the signals just goes like this, and they say, okay, whenever it crosses this line, I call it 1, otherwise I call it 0. Then I see this curve, which is an analog curve, becomes zeros and ones. I digitize it. Now I quantize it. The good quality of digitization means you cut it so thin, so fine frequency you do. I quantized it now. So what I have done, I took certain algorithm to slice them into certain time slots, certain length. Then I've put some meaning to it. Understand? So when I am slicing it, I make a meaning to it. It becomes an aksharam, a matra. A, E, U. Oh, they are matras, bijaksharas. Then when matras continuous, then I bring it together, few aksharas becomes a patam. Oh, it's a patam, it's a word. Shru, Shravanam, Shakti. So let us do. So let's define the word. Visargam. In each language. Then the language is coming out of this, you see. Then I got a lot of words. Now the words are coming together, becomes a Vaakya. We just now saw, just words alone cannot be Vaakya. It must have some conditions. So the Mimamsikas, we are talking about thousands of years before, they put rules for it. All the algorithms are super algorithms, much better than what you have today in AI. It's so wonderful. And they put in 3 conditions. That means, for example, if I say, yesterday, I start, then you are listening. Yesterday what? What happened? So you are not taking the yesterday as a sentence, you're taking as the patam. You have an expectancy of this, what is coming next. It's called akanksha. Akanksha means expectancy. What is expected to make it a sentence? Kanksha means calm. Calm means kamaha, desire. Kanksha means who desires. Akanksha means a particular desire. So you all have, what is next? Yesterday, Lakshmi went to temple. Now you see everything I say, yesterday went where? To the temple. So like that. So you have the akanksha is a propeller to bring in the words to make a meaningful sentence. That's a condition 1. Then there is a competency, a yogyata you need. Every word that follows has to fit well. Yesterday, Lakshmi, apple, goes to the temple. What does the apple got to do there? It has no sense at all. There's no semantic fitness to this. So it has to be removed. Please, it's not a Vyakarna class, but I'm saying this because you need all these ideas when you go in deeper into the vichara. So competency is needed. Or I say, Lakshmi, then I wait for 10 minutes, went, then wait for 10 minutes, two, then tomorrow I say the temple. Does it make sense? So it has to be near. Contiguity is there. Sannidhi. So your words have to have an expectancy, compatibility, and continuity. When you have all these words come together, you make a sentence. See, these days we just blabber anything. We say whatever comes to mind. But even to say a proper sentence, there are so much of rule imbibed. And these rules are very natural rules. This is the beauty of it. Why this is very easy to understand, easy to practice, because when I said these things, none of you can have any argument against this. Yeah, of course. When you say a first word, we expect what is next. You see, this is the natural law, dharma. So all these algorithms are dharmic algorithms. So it is how it is done. So much for the Vakyas. Okay. Why inquire? We already talked about it, because this is the inquiry we all need to do. But even if you don't do it, just to put your mind at rest, because this is what is spoken everywhere. Vedanta alone is a language in the world. Tattvamasi alone is being pronounced everywhere. But we don't listen to, we don't hear that. What do you mean by that? Every change happens in life. When a child is born, or somebody is dead, things move away. All that happening is they are basically saying, all that is not you, all that is not you. You are not affected by it. You are asangatvam. It is a drama you are seeing. See yourself. So this is the Mahavakyam being pronounced in the rhythm of the nature. Satyam vadishyami, rhythm vadishyami. This is the rhythm. Only if you know this rhythm, you can say when you do the Shanti mantra, for example, Bhadram Karnebihi, Yamadeva. So I want to listen to good things in the ears. No God can give you that boon. Because what are you asking? I want to listen to good things. But there are bad things in the world. So you will listen to it. I cannot fulfill your need. But I have the capacity to hear everything as good. I don't need even God for that. I just have to take that realization, because I can see anything as good, anything as dharmic. But then you think about it for a minute. Who defines what is good, what is bad? Who defines what is dharma, what is adharma? After all, if there is an adharma in this world, who created this? If there is something bad in this world, who created it? It must be the God. If God can create bad things, so I can. Is it not? So the bad or good, dharma or adharma, are all in the play out in the game in which you are the producer, director, actor, villain, comedian, and a reporter. So it is your position in the drama to see and to live the condition that you want to live. I want to live unaffected by all this. Yes, be an observer. Bhagavan Ramana's Mahavakyam is attention, attention, attention. Just to attend to things. When you attend to that, that means attend, that means you are at it all the time. As an observer, that means whatever being observed is not you. Okay? So much for the introduction. Okay? So let's now go into the main one. What I would say, this Tatvamasi got 53 verses. Sorry, this Vaakya-Vritti. In the 53 verses, the first 10, I would say, setting the context, prarthanas, and then the guru and Shishya meeting together, and they're setting up. So it sets you the context of it. Then the 11 to 27, I think, will give you enquiry of Tvam Padam. See, when you do Vaakya Vicharam, Vicharam means enquiry. Vaakya Vicharam means enquiring the sentence. And we are not doing a casual one, we are doing a very detailed enquiry. That means I must enquire each word. So I need to Pada Vicharam. So Tat, Tvam, Asi. The 3 words. So the first, the Tvam Padam is taken. The Tvam Pada Vicharam happens in the mantras up to 27. Then we take the Tat Pada Vicharam. What is the Tat? What does it mean? Then in the next 6 or 7 mantras, we see how this Tat and Tvam are making meaningful revelation in the sentence with the verb Asi. In other words, we do the Vaakya Vicharam. So build the Vaakya Vicharam, we do Pada Vicharam. So who am I is the first question. Who is God? Next question. How are we related? Third question. Then we do what is called some sadhanas and phalam, the last 5 slokas. So we're going to take it slowly but deeply as much as possible. First is a prayer. Managalacharanam, it's called. Bhagavan Vashyakara is making a prayer. Isn't it an irony? Yeah. So he is going to teach about Tattvamasi, that means you are that Parabrahman. Then who am I praying for? To? What am I praying for? Why is he praying? Why at all? Why at all we pray? We pray because, of course, you and I pray because I want to get the job, I want to get the money, I want the disease to go, I want to be a multimillionaire, or whatever. Or even if I don't want all this, I'm a good bhakta, I worship, I pray because it just pleases me. I don't ask God anything. I recite the Mahatmyam, Vishnu Sahasranamam because it's Lalita Sahasranamam. I worship, sings God's glory. But even then, you do it because it gives you happiness. Is it not? If you're not reciting, you're not happy. Is that so? So you are always incomplete when you make a prayer like this, because only by doing that you get. Please don't. I'm not disrespecting prayers. I'm putting a counter argument, because if you think, why do acharyas pray? Why should Paramacharya do puja every day? Does he need to do puja? We see him as God himself. Why do Shankaracharya write prayers? Of course, the simple answer is they do it because sometimes if you don't listen to what they say, at least you try to do what they do, right? So you can do it. So that's a very simple, trivial example. But Bhagavan's case, Bhashyakara's case, also all the Vedanta prayers, the prayers themselves are Vedanta. So I think I would take maybe an hour to explain this, but I will go briefly. So here Bhagavan Shankara is making a prayer. Of course, also in the tradition of writing text, you normally write a Managalacharanam to say, I am writing this so that let it complete. Samapti, let it book complete. Of course, Shankara doesn't need to worry about that. But you and I, when we write, please God help me to complete it. But once it is completed, why should I recite the prayer? Because once it's completed, when you recite the prayer, let it give prasiddhi, let it give me prayojanam. So the prayer has got a number of reasons. So therefore, don't need to worry about why he asks a prayer, because prayer is necessary. What's he say? So maybe if you want, you can recite after this, because it's interesting. Sargasthiti pralaya hetum achinta shaktim.
Sargasthititim pralaya hetum
achintya shaktim.
shaktim.
Vishveshwaram vidida vishvam anandamurtim.
Vishveshwaram vidita vishwam
Anandamurtim. Nirmukta bandhanam apara suga amburashim.
Nirmukta
bandhanam apara suga amburashim.
amburashim.
Shri Vallabham Vimalabodhakanam namami.
Shri Vallabham Vimalabodhaghanam namami.
Very, very beautiful sloka. Let's see it line by line. Sarga Sthiti Pralaya Hetum. Hetum. So, second case. So, he is now objectifying the Parabrahman, to which he offers prayers. So, when you do a Anvayam of any text, you find the verb first. Normally, it will be only one verb, namami. Then you ask the question, who, what, why. Then you get all the answers. Then you can formulate it. Namami, I pay my prayer worship to who? Sarga Sthiti Pralaya Hetum. That means Sarga. Sarga means Srishti. Srishti, Sthiti means protection. Pralaya means dissolution. Hetuhu. Hetuhu is the reason for it. So, Namami Sargasthiti Pralaya Hetum. I offer my prayers to the reason, to the cause that creates, sustains, and destroys. See, Sarga, Srishti, normally we say, right? Srishti, Sarga, all comes from the root called Shrij. Shrij means to project, to flow, to throw, to emit. So, Sargam is what? I mean, if you look at the Kurma Puranam, Bhagavatam, they call it Sargam. Sargam means, in fact, Kurma Puranam goes in a way that Srishti happens where the Parabrahman emitted a darkness, a Mahamaya, and it came into 5 variances. Tamas, Moha, Mahamoha, Tamishra, Anda. Don't worry about all this. So these are all way the Puranas try to explain and give a big, vivid picture. The Brahmadeva was contemplating on these 5 avidyas, and then he found a seed-like object, and then he started playing with this one, and then he create 5 sargas. So like that it goes. So then the Brahmanda Purana will start developing it into the thing. So how the water came, how the fire came, all that stuff. But here we are talking about the source of everything, the Parabrahman, is that I am playing worship for. But this Parabrahman, we use the word Parashivam, or Vishnu, we say Vishnu means all pervasive. Shiva means all auspiciousness. Achalam, right? Wait a minute. There is a contradiction here, because if it is all pervasive, it's all filling everything, how can it create something? Because to create something, you need to have a space. But if there is a space, you are already there. So this cannot be true, right? But we see the evidence here. We see the world is created. So is it true or not true? So it is both true and not true. It is true in an empirical world, in a Vyavaharika world, in differences from our point of view. There exist many things, but in reality, nothing exists, only that exists. Okay, this is like a word play, right? No, this is the truth. So the Parabrahman, we call it Vishnu or Shivam, anything, which is all pervasive, is incapable of, I use the word very carefully, not in an abusive way, but in terms of a glorified uh, uh, qualification. He cannot do anything because he is everywhere. How can a sun show darkness? Hey, can you give me the light? I want to look for the darkness. How does it work? No. So therefore, see what I'm trying to see how deep this sloga can be. So this first sentence need to be, the expectancy is, so what? What is a yogyata? Now you see next one it comes. Achinta Shaktim. Well, all this is created by the Ishvara because he encompasses an Achintya Shakti. Incomprehensible. I can't explain a power he has got. What is his power? Mahamaya, Mahashakti, Parashakti. Is he away from her, from him? I use him, her, just to differentiate. No, it cannot be different. It is that. Mahashakti, Mahamaya, Parashakti, Devi is Brahma Shakti. What is she doing? She is doing a game which is not eternally true, because there cannot be a world other than the Brahman. There cannot be a being other than the Brahman. There cannot be anything other than the Brahman. Sarvam Brahmamayam. But she says, I create a world. I create Sarvam Vishnumayam Jagat. I create 14 worlds. So what's she doing? She's creating an illusion. Therefore, she's called a Mahamaya. But who is she? She is the Sargasiddhi Shakti. Sargasthiti Pralaya Shakti. Therefore, I can start worshipping her. I can leave the Brahman away. Yeah, you can do it. Be my guest, because you are not differentiating anything. You choose the path of Shaktam, you do Devi Upasana, but what are you worshipping? You're worshipping the Shakti of Shivam, the Brahman. See, as you grow, the duality grows, differences grow, but you must all the differences are very good, because difference gives you celebration. If I have a garden full of white flowers, it's boring. I must have pink, red, green. I want differences to enjoy life. But I can do that only when I know all the differences are transient. They are not real. They are Maya. Therefore, I worship the Shakti. So, Achinta Shaktim Namami. So now he worshipped Parashakti and Parameshwara. Vishveshwaram. Vishwam means the world, as well as everything. What is this Achinta Shakti? You say, I can't define it, but please give me an indication of it. He says, Vishveshwaram. That means, Ishwaram means control. It controls everything else. This is no big deal, because if you create, you are the controller. Don't you agree? If I'm a painter, I painted it. I can paint any way I like it. I can frame any way I like it. I can sell any way I want to sell it, because I own it, right? Do you agree? So God, therefore, is naturally omnipotent, because it's his world. Vishveshwaram. You have to remember this, because we are going to now equate Ishvara to ourselves. So you are the controller of your world, the world you create. See, to understand this very well, to put in the mode of Tattvamasi Bhava, if Brahman is like that, Sthiti, Sarga, Sthiti, Pralaya, Ketu, I am definitely not that, right? Even the first prayer itself, first phrase itself, makes me disqualified to the Tattvamasi understanding, because I create nothing. Yeah, that's what you say. No. Today you exist. Today you have this class. After this, you're going to go to the hotel or to the shop. You're going to have a good time. Then you're going to sleep. So this happened since morning. Morning you got a sarga. A world came in front of you. And you sustain it, meeting people, talking to people, doing vyabhara. And then the night, a nitya pralayam comes in, sleep comes in, this world gone. So here we are not talking about the world that God created in front of you, the world that you created. You are the Srishtikarta. You are the one you manage your experiences. You are the one you destroys it. Therefore, you have the control. Am I? If you put it that way, yeah, you're right. Do I have the full control on it? Yes, you have. What power I have? Achinta Shakti. That's what you need to find out. What power you have? How can I tell you? It's your power. You look into power. Who makes you wake up in the morning? Who makes you sleep? Who is telling you in your heart, this is right, this is wrong? Have you ever looked into that person? No. We are busy going out into what we have, because we think we have no control of this world. Today I'm in the class because it's my fate. God created. God did not do it. You did it because it is your world, you created, but you do not take up the ownership of it. So we'll go to the contemplation later. So that Achinta Shakti, Vishveshwaram, Vidita Vishwam. Vishwa means Sarvam. Vidita means knowing everything. So Sarvagyan. You will say, oh, I don't know anything, so I can find differences. I'm not God. Okay? Keep all the question in your mind. We'll come back and address it. Now, what happened on this? Because the Brahma Shakti came out, and using the Vishveshwaram, within the Vishwam as the Adharam, as a center, what is this Maya doing? Ananda Murti. Ananda means infinite. Murti means form. Nama Rupam. So it is creating so many forms. I worship all the forms. See, now you see, Bhagavan is moving from the Parabrahma Upasana to Saguna Brahma Upasana. Come to Murti. Ananda Murti. Indefinite forms. Muruga, Krishna, Allah, Yesu, Nagam, whatever you want to worship. But whatever I worship, Why I worship? Because it is going to liberate me. That means whoever is liberating me should be already free, right? If I am in a quicksand, I'm sinking inside. Who do I need to help me out? Not somebody who is sinking with me, along with me in the sink. No, he can't help me. He would rather bury me more faster. So I need somebody who is free from the sinking. That means if I am already in the bandhanam of this bondage of Anandamurti Jiva Yatra I have, Ananta Janma Jiva Yatra I have, I need somebody who is Nirmukta Bandhanam. Nirmukta means free, completely free, bandhanam from all this bondage. So I worship you because you are a complete liberator. Well, all this process looks serious and intense. Is it going to be fun? Absolutely. Apara Sukha Amburasi. Ambu means Ambujam. Ambu means water. Ambu means water. Moon. Ambu means water. Rashi means constellation, collection, gathering. So Amburasi means ocean, simply ocean, sea. What kind of ocean it is? Sukha Amburasim. It's a limitless, boundless happiness ocean. Abhara. Abhara means it's completely borderless, infinite bliss it is. So it's going to be fun. I worship you. Worship as was. Shri Vallabham. Shri means a lot of meaning. Prosperity, growth, jnanam, pravritti, shreyas. You can say all this. Vallabham means one who is dear to Sri. Here you can come to Anantamurti. Now I say you come to Ishta Devata. Sri Vishnu. Sri Vishnu. I pray to you. Vallabham Namami. But again, you see, what is he praying for? Vimala Bodha Ganam Namami. So I worship you as Bodha Ganam. Bodha means the awareness, consciousness, Atma Jnanam. Ganam here means basically that consolidated jnanam. Bodha Ganam means consolidated awareness. What kind of awareness? Vimala. Malam means blemish. Vimala means without blemish. Give me that Atma Jnanam without blemish. Isn't it unnecessary here? Because Bhagavan never uses unnecessary words. Atma Jnanam cannot be blemish. Why he says Vimala Bodhaganam? Unblemished Atma Jnanam. Is there a blemished Atma Jnanam? What do you mean by that? Even you have the Atma Jnana as a possessor of knowledge, if you don't get anubhuti of it, because you still have the ahambhavam, you still have that ashraddha, you still have the little avidya, that's a malam. Malam means blemish. So you don't have any ashraddha, ajnanam, avidya, you are 100% bodham. Therefore, I pray to you. You know, I was just reading Saundara Lagari, and Saundara Lagari in the one of the mantras, he says, Taniyamsum Bhamsum Tavacharana Bankrukabhav. Oh, Mother, all this Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, everybody is worshipping in doing their respective jobs. You know, Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, Karanam. These murtis are worshipping what? Your divine feet? No. In the divine feet, there is a little bangam, there is a little dust is there. Little makarandam is there, little bit of a small dust particle is there, that they collect it. Just collect the little blemish or little dust from your feet. Just by having it, Brahma created all this world. Therefore, all the world is nothing but the dust of your feet. Vishnu is carrying in his 1,000 heads all the world. That is carrying the dust of your feet. And Rudra, what does he do? He destroys all the world and then apply on his body like a vibhuti. That means the dust is wearing it on his body. See, all this, if you look at it, it is not they got this Devi himself. They just taken a little dust particle on this day. So when I was listening to this, reading to this, how could the dust be on Ambal? Can it be? Ambal is pure. How can a dust particle come? Comes because Ambal is Vidya Avidya Rupini. Ambal is both Avidya and Vidya. Dharma Dharma Rupini. Ambal is both Dharma and Adharma. Ambal is Chamunti as well as Rajrajeshwari. Ambal is Gauri Agori. Ambal is darkness, brightness. All because she is the player of the game. Because otherwise Shivam is just boring, right? All inert. So the Shiva Shakti comes out and creates all this. When you are creating something not absolutely true, it is a malam. But Ambal cannot be amalam. She is Vimali. Therefore, the Shastra comes and talks about Shuddhamaya, and all kind of, all this, then all the explanation becomes self-justification to the way that we approach it. So that's the reason why I think here, Ajnanam is also, ignorance also is a grace. Sometimes ignorance we say bliss. Why we say bliss? Because had I not known it, I'd been happy. So you get up in the morning, you didn't hear about a sad news of somebody. How is the day going to go? Beautiful. 6 o'clock in the evening, somebody tells the bad news. Then you were going to suffer. But at least you had the whole day happily, right? What gave you the bliss? That ignorance. So ignorance is not necessarily a curse, but it is a womb of knowledge. Ignorance is a darkness from which the light is coming out. Ignorance is where the knowledge is emanating. So avidya is the mother of vidya. So here, therefore, the Vimala. So you can see how much you can just dwell into this more and more and more. So I stop it here. So we will take, my plan was to do 3 slogans, but only do 1 today, but it's worth it. So we will do next sloga, Guru prayer, then we go text proper. Now let's go to the Shanti Padam. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya.
Om Asatoma Sadgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Asoma Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityoma Amridam Gamaya.
Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti
Shanti.
Shanti.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.